Hey everybody, so I had a bit of time this evening, so I just figured I'd come on and say hello, have some viewer interaction, and while I hate interacting with you guys unless you give me money, I guess I'll condescend to do that. So this stream has no structure, just if people can just talk about whatever they want to talk about. I'm going to just ramble on about Star Wars lore, and if people want to ask me questions or whatever, go ahead. This probably won't go on that long. Maybe like half an hour to 40 minutes just after work. So I'm playing the ground from the ground up. So this is one where everyone starts out with one planet and then you have to expand outwards. So I'm playing as the Pentastar alignment. So the Pentastar alignment was founded by, I think his name was Grand Admiral Kane, in the aftermath of the Empire collapsing. And basically, yeah, it's kind of a more capitalist based society, but they have kind of a different unit roster. So I kind of like them. So, okay, Left Sector, what did you want to talk about? So I'm just going to, whenever people aren't talking, I'm going to ramble on about Star Wars. Because I've just been into Star Wars lore. Will you ever do reaction reviews of the original trilogy? Someday. I've just been busy. Argent, I will continue to say it. Tarkin was incompetent and is only liked because of his accent. Yeah, I've actually filmed my character profile of what is it? I've recently done my character profile of Admiral Dalla, so I'll put that up eventually. Admiral Dalla is hilarious. She is without a doubt the most incompetent Imperial commander in Star Wars. And given just, yeah, I mean, think about that for a minute. Most of the Empire's commanding officers are awful. Tarkin was disturbed by his lack of faith. Yeah, Tarkin's issue, yeah, and I have a video about the New Republic I'm going to put up sometime soon. I admit I've kind of changed my mind about them. I admit I kind of like the New Republic now. I don't think they're nearly as bad as I originally kind of portrayed them as being. Okay, and I'm going to take that planet. And then I'm going to go back and try to retake. I need to take Yaga Minor. What made this? How about Paleon? Paleon's coming. I have a lot of shit to do. Paleon is currently my avatar on Facebook. My profile picture is currently Paleon. Let me find. Paleon had a couple. Let me just go to my Facebook page. Paleon had a couple really good quotes. Yeah, Revan did nothing wrong. Okay. So here's one. You may win the occasional battle against us, Vorik, but the Empire will always strike back. That is pretty badass. Here's my favorite one, though. My favorite quote of his. This is what he said to Ashoka when she went on his ship, remarking on how scantily clad she was. We do not expose flesh in this ship, not only because it's unbecoming, undisciplined, and distracting, but because a ship is a dangerous place. Sharp edges, noxious chemicals, heat exhaust, weapons flash, safety first, Padawan, cover up. Oh, here's a good Thrawn one. Thrawn, it was my one failure out on the fringes. The one time when understanding a race's art gave me no insight at all into its psyche. At least not at the time. Now I believe I'm finally beginning to understand them. Paleon, I'm sure that will prove useful in the future. Thrawn, I doubt it. I wound up destroying their world. Has anyone here read the new Thrawn book? Because they got Timothy Zahn to write a Thrawn book. So yeah, Thrawn is fully canon now. I actually almost like the new version of Thrawn better. Because they've kind of made him more of kind of a protagonist than he was. And because I think they made him more of a protagonist, I think it's less likely they're going to kill him off in a retarded way. My headcanon is that Palpatine assassinated Thrawn. That Palpatine was behind Thrawn's... Yeah, implying it wasn't already canon. No, Thrawn was actually a pretty decent guy. I'm just saying they've made him as kind of a more flat-out good guy, which I kind of like. It's kind of funny, if you ever get the chance, the Dark Forces series is kind of cool, just because they have a lot of cameos in it. And Thrawn has a cameo in it, and it's funny because the Sith Lord Jarek is like, you have no evil in you, do you, Thrawn? Only calculation. I haven't watched Star Wars Rebels. I'm not interested. I'm not that interested in the reboot. I liked a couple of the novels. I like Tarkin. Tarkin was pretty good because it had Tarkin and Vader on a road trip. And Tarkin and Vader on a road trip is a good basis for a Star Wars novel. So I like Tarkin. I really loved Thrawn. The book Thrawn. I really liked Eli Vanto, actually. I wasn't expecting to like him as much, but he's just a really good kind of foil for Thrawn. Just kind of... I really like him. He's one of my new favorite kind of characters in the reboot. I refuse to call it canon. If I call it canon, you can slap me. Let me just see if I can find that. Didn't they kill Pelion? I think Pelion got killed off on screen. Or something like that. Here, this is hilarious. This is what one person made. Oh, okay, that's a great topic. How could the CIS lose the war? Okay, because that's actually something I've been wondering. I was wondering about. Okay, so let me see here. So this is a picture I found, and I thought this was hilarious. I love how Thrawn is just autistically staring off into space, like just not noticing at all. He's my... You're not even canon. Okay, so here's my theory as to how the CIS lost. I think that the Republic just did a lot better in space. That most of the space yards, including Kuwait, how'd you pronounce it? Kuwait Drive yards were located within Republic space. And the Separatists just didn't really have access to that much in the way of Starship production. And because they lacked reliable access to Starship production, they were incapable of having... They kind of... I think what happened is just they didn't have enough... Sorry, I'm losing my train of thought. Let me just close my eyes and focus. The Republic just had more Star Destroyers, and their pilots were a lot better. And if you look at the number of fighters that a Venator carries compared to a Providence class, it's actually about equal. And a lot of the Republic's fighters, particularly later in the war, had shields on them. So I think what happened was the CIS just kept losing in space, and they were unable to really bring all of their droids. Kuwait Drive yards is... Kuwait. The CIS had way more spaceships than the Republic, but of low quality in space. The Republic only caught up in the last year. Yeah, so I think that's part of it. I think we're underestimating the logistical problems with droids because droids need to be recharged. So I think there's a chance that it is more of a logistical nightmare than you might expect. The CIS lost because Anakin sent the shutdown command to the entire droid army. Yeah, but I think he lost already. I'm surprised no one tried to utilize battle droids in the Empire era. So what wound up happening, because, okay, there were periodic attempts. The World Devastators, which was a super weapon Palpatine made that was literally this giant, mostly automated super fortress, sucked up planets, they tore apart planets, and it would convert them into TIE droids. So, like, it was destroying the planet while building more. Also, I believe the Eclipse utilized TIE droids. I mean, if you're going to go for a TIE fighter, you might as well make it a droid. I think that actually makes more sense. Actually, here, let me find the quote Han Solo had. Yeah, shadow droids. Kind of one of the things that happened was they... sure, post a good EU meme. Let me see that Han Solo quote. Okay. Okay, here's a good one. Okay, so this is Han Solo talking about how the Empire would have dealt with the Wuzhan Vong. What the Empire would have done was build a super colossal Wuzhan Vong killing battle machine. They would have called it the Nova Colossus, or the Galaxy Destructor, or the Nostril of Palpatine, or something really grandiose. They would have spent billions of credits, employed thousands of contractors and subcontractors, and equipped it with the latest in death-dealing technology. And you know what would have happened? It wouldn't have worked. They'd forgot to bolt down a metal plate over an access hatch leading to the main reactors, or some other mistake, and a hotshot enemy pilot would drop a bomb down there and blow the thing up. That's what the Empire would have done. Sure, you can try posting a link. I don't know if it would work.
Beginning construction.
No, it didn't post. I think it got caught. Han Solo does that a lot. It's kind of one of his things. The Nostril of Palpatine is amazing. I mean, probably the most ridiculous super weapon the Galactic Empire ever built was, I'd say it's probably the Sun Crusher, because the Sun Crusher was just ridiculous. Can I just comment on the link on your newest video? Sure, you can try that. So the Sun Crusher was a ship that was about the size of a large fighter, but it had what was it, Neutronian quantum plating, so it was completely indestructible. At one point, they put it in the gas giant Yavin, and the gravity didn't even dent it. And it survived multiple supernovas. And it had resonance torpedoes which could blow stars up and cause them to go supernova. And that was the ultimate weapon that they built. I actually really like the Old Republic. I like the Old Republic a lot, actually. I actually think it's a lot better than the Empire. It was more of kind of a traditionalist society in a lot of ways. Because, I mean, if you think about it, it wasn't really a liberal democracy. It was a collection of monarchies and republics and corporations and hive worlds. And everybody within the Old Republic was able to kind of have their own culture and have their own planet, and they could control immigration and everything. I mean, stuff worked out pretty well for most of the time. The fact that the Old Republic lasted for, what was it, 10,000 years? The fact that the Old Republic lasted for 10,000 years, and the only time it really had issues was due to external threats. I mean, even when you get into the Clone Wars, the only time that was largely because of, what was it called again? I completely lost my train of thought there.
Reporting. Heading out.
What was I going to say again?
Tactical battle imminent.
Oh, so the Clone Wars were caused by Sith infiltrators. If it hadn't, like, there was going to be a crisis at some point, but the Republic probably would have just gone through another reformation. Do you guys think people are ironically giving DSP money now, or is this called irredeemably naive? I could see people giving him money just because they don't want the freak show to end, which I've considered, but it's just, I like money too much. But, no. I mean, I'll put it up, but in my video on the New Republic, to be fair to them, they were trying to deal with a really difficult situation. Because in a lot of cases, what wound up happening was the Empire destroyed a lot of kind of the local cultures. Like, they destroyed a lot of the monarchies and republics and theocracies and all the types of governments that were... that had kind of existed for a long time, and they replaced them all with kind of military occupation. I mean, that's kind of the issue. The Empire never really established a normalized form of government. It was basically just a military junta that didn't have, like, a real form of legitimacy. So when the New Republic kind of came in, they were having to try to build from scratch because a lot of the cultures within it, had more or less been devastated during the Imperial era. Is racism prevalent in Star Wars? Okay, that's an interesting question. So the Coalition for the Preservation of the New Order was Palpatine's political party. The Coalition for the Preservation of the New Order was founded in the aftermath of the Clone Wars. And basically it was a human supremacist Okay, I can't win this. That dreadnought's just too strong. It was a human supremacist organization. So they were explicitly anti-alien and pro-human and pro-near-human. So, yeah, so they were pro-human and to a certain extent near-human. And under their leadership, non-humans or / non-near-humans were demoted to sub-sentient class, so they had no rights under the Empire, and they were de facto slaves, which was more, yeah, so that's more or less what had happened. So like the Wookiees were completely enslaved, a lot of other species were enslaved. I think the thing you have to understand is the Republic is to a large can you be mixed race in Star Wars? You can. It depends what you mean though by mixed race. Humans and near humans can normally breed. So I think Twi'leks can breed with humans because they're a near human. But there's a lot of species like, I forget what they're called again. Sith are a race actually, but they kind of got messed. Let me just look up near human. Near human. Okay, so near humans include the Zabraks, so like Darth Maul. So there's the Zabraks are near humans, so they can breed with humans. Chiss can. Chiss are actually very close to humans. The reason why Chiss look different is because of the atmosphere of their planet. It's not necessarily genetic. Let's see here. Morellans are near human. Let me think here. What are some other ones? Chiss. The Chiss are really good looking people. I'm gonna admit it. If I could have a QT Chiss waifu, I would definitely have one. I think what wound up happening is very early on in the Republic, before like advanced hyperspace got developed. Yeah, before advanced hyperspace got developed, what they would do is they sent humans on sleeper ships across the galaxy. And yes, they were sent across the galaxy, and a lot of human groups developed independently. So the Chiss were a group of human colonists who were sent deep within the unknown regions. I think they're only like 10,000 years divergent. They aren't really even a separate. They're like a subspecies of humanity. They're very closely related. Chiss, however, have much shorter life expectancies than humans. Their metabolism is a lot. Their metabolism is a lot faster than humans. They live a lot. Their lifespans are a lot shorter, but they're much smarter than humans. The Chiss are really like the only civilized people that live within the unknown region. They're kind of interesting because the Chiss actually during the Great Galactic War, when it was that takes place during the time of the Old Republic Online, the Chiss went on to become allies of the Sith Empire, and the Sith were shocked that anybody. Yeah, the Sith were shocked that anybody would want to ally with them, but basically, the Chiss decided it would be better to be an ally to the Sith than to try to get into their way, so they basically offered them soldiers. They gave them additional soldiers, resources, etc. I'd say the best space strategy game is Sins of a Solar Empire. They are working on a port of sorts of Thrawn's Revenge for it. It's very early on, but I like it. I think it's pretty good. So, let's see here. Yes, I'm playing as the Pentasaur alignment. I actually was kind of surprised when I was playing the New Republic, because I actually really like the New Republic. In terms of their fleet doctrine, I think it's a lot better than the Empire's, to be honest. Because the X-Wings have proton torpedoes, and proton torpedoes are really good. I haven't played Solaris. I tried it once and I was kind of overwhelmed, and then I never played it again. Which I probably should play it again. Yeah. See, what are they good against? I'll build
Turret constructing.
vehicle turrets. Kreia. Problem with Empire of the Hand is they don't have anything that can deal with heavy, like dreadnoughts or large capital ships. Otherwise, I actually like Empire of the Hand quite a bit. The New Republic is probably my favorite faction,
Construction.
just because their starfighters are really good.
Almost there. Pirate skip here. Copy. Heading out. Right away. Moving out. Heading out, sir.
Oh crap. Can they even shoot that gunship? Fuck me. I'm gonna probably lose here.
Let's move out.
Yes, sir.
I am probably gonna lose here.
Squad, move out. Right away, sir. Squad,
Okay, what I need is for them to blow up one of these so I can build an AA platform, because I don't have anything else left that can shoot down AA.
affirmative.
Yeah, the Clone Wars cartoon was really good. The thing I liked about it, it was really the only good portrayal of General Grievous that just showed what a fucking badass he was. I mean, General Grievous came second on my list of the top 5 most alpha Star Wars characters. And that's difficult. You know, a list, you have to be a badass to be on a list. If Han Solo was like number 5 on it.
Turret constructing. Reporting in. Construction complete. Let's go.
So I've got to lure him into the... No, Grievous sucked in the
Roger that.
reboot. Like, his Grievous was literally worshipped as a god of war on his planet.
Keep going.
Yeah, they literally... Yeah, they worshipped him. He was a war god. He would go on, after his waifu died, and he took the name Grievous, he would go on to be known as... He went on to have, I think it was 20 wives and like 30 children. Because he was that badass. Grievous was such a badass that the Intergalactic Banking Clan offered to pay off all of his planet's debt in exchange for him serving as an enforcer for them. So yeah, Grievous was such a badass, the Intergalactic Bank Clan literally paid off all of his planet's debts. Oh god, I love Grievous. Okay, so they have one left there. Okay, so they're running away, that's good. I managed to hold this planet. I'm gonna have to build a bigger garrison though, but... Was Count Dooku a good guy? Now that's an interesting question regarding Count Dooku. He viewed himself as being a protagonist. I think he did actually... I think he personally hated non-humans. He was kind of an example of someone who probably had good intentions to start off with, but he was extremely narcissistic and prideful. And that's ultimately what Palpatine took advantage of when he was able to manipulate him.
Training soldiers. Reporting. Reporting.
Needs up destroyed. Cruiser reporting.
Unit cancelled.
Let's see here. I'm going to build some Victory 2s. So I have yet to capture a planet where I can build a capital shipyard. So because of that, I'm reliant on frigates for the foreseeable future. Yeah, Dooku was like Saruman. That's a good comparison, made better because of the fact that Christopher Lee played both. I love Christopher Lee. By the way, Christopher Lee was like the greatest. I unironically call him the Supreme Gentleman. Everybody who ever dealt with Christopher Lee said he was like the nicest guy they ever met.
Let's move out.
Also, he was 6'3",
Reporting.
and he was a Anglo-Catholic, which makes him even more of a badass.
Enlisting.
But yeah, I love Christopher Lee.
Soldiers.
And he just rocked every role he was in. He was amazing as Saruman. He was great as Count Dooku. That was a man who just had like an amazing career. So yeah, I have nothing bad to say about Christopher Lee. The late, the great Christopher Lee.
Reporting.
And he was still making movies up until his death. When are you doing a video character profile on a cutie waifu? I have so much backlog to do. I'll do one at some point. I have a huge backlog. I'm lazy. Well, I'm not really lazy. I just have a lot of shit to cover.
Cruiser reporting.
Could you control light and dark powers as long as you don't get consumed by the dark side? It's an interesting question.
Under construction.
I'm trying to think of how to describe it. A theory called potentium, I think is how it's pronounced, which is the idea that there is no dark side, that the dark side is just a corruption of the light. Kind of like how in Catholicism, evil is just the absence of light, or is kind of the twisting of it. So the followers of Potentium said that no force power is innately bad. What matters is the intentionality behind it. So they were more willing to experiment with it than the rest of the Jedi. So there's like different thoughts. There's like a binary view of the Force. There's a view that the Force is neither good nor evil. It simply is. Then there's Potentium, which is, like I said, the idea that it's entirely based on intentionality. So yeah, there's a lot of different philosophies of the Force. Some Sith, like Sidious, had the view that the Force was only the dark side was the true Force, and that there was no light side of it. At the same time, I was reading the Dark Forces books where they're talking about Kyle Katarn. And I think part of the reason why Jedi were taught to repress their emotions so much is Jedi feel emotions a lot stronger than most people do. So, like, when a Jedi gets angry, it's a lot more powerful than a normal person's anger. So that's kind of why they have to repress emotions, because there's kind of a feedback loop with the Force. So if they get angry, then it feeds the dark side, which makes them angrier, etc. Also, their thoughts can affect reality. So I think that's why they have to basically practice a lot of mental discipline and repression.
Coming about.
Sounds like Chaos Warp Magic. It is in a lot of ways like that. I don't think Kreia could have destroyed the Force, because the Force is an underlying aspect of creation, more or less. I don't think it can be destroyed.
I'm on this one. Coming around. Locking on.
So I have to try to find a capital shipyard to take. The problem is the capital shipyard I have access to is Yaga Minor, but Yaga Minor is defended by a dreadnought. And I don't have anything strong enough to destroy a dreadnought at this part in the game. So I'm kind of stuck. I can keep expanding, so I'll take a couple more planets down here just for some more
Flight speed.
stuff. But no, I don't think Kreia could have destroyed the Force. I think that was a delusion on her part. You know what it was? It was like the thought ladder in Code Geass, where the Emperor thought he could kill God, which was actually the collective unconscious, through his weirdo machine thing. Oh, yeah, I shouldn't have auto-resolved that. Oh well. So I'm going to bring up my... Where is my ground forces? Where did I wind up putting them? They should be somewhere around here. Okay, I'm about to freak out. Where the fuck did I put my ground forces? Did I just... Oh, there they are. Okay, they were just in transit. All right. Okay, so I can go and do that now. Okay, so I'm going to blow up this frigate. Auto-resolve on Empire War is terrible. Yeah, auto-resolve is god-awful in this game. It kind of irritates me just because I really hate... I don't like land battles. I don't think they're very good in this game. I like doing the space battles, but I don't really like ground battles. I didn't play this game for the longest time just because I didn't really understand it. Then I just realized it's just a lot simpler than I thought it was. So, yeah. Let me see here.
Gunship reporting. Reporting. Yes, sir. Battery is online.
Okay, let's see.
Weapons ready. Yes,
There we go. I actually have a pretty big fleet.
at your command. We're on our way.
Battlefront 2 is really good. I really like it. Battlefront 2 is probably the best. It might be the best Star Wars game. This is pretty good. KOTOR is pretty good. A bunch of things like that. Okay. Well, I have to go because my work is calling me and they're saying that I have to go and solve some problems because I don't know, it needs to be dealt with right this minute. So sorry guys, I'll talk to you later.